Coach, there's a lot to start with, but what's it say about your team to win the tournament the way they did?
I'll tell you, Luke, after the first game, and I was really mad at myself. I felt like that situation could have been avoided. Wasn't happy with some of the pitches I called at that key juncture. I felt Jared deserved a better fate. Got a little timid maybe and threw a breaking ball, and we probably should have thrown a fastball. And so I told the guys that after the game. You know, we shouldn't be playing another game. I need you to bail me out. And they sure did. Simon Gregerson, Cam Edmondson, to throw a shutout, you know, this deep in the tournament, just really impressive.
You always say momentum only carries you as good as your next starting pitcher. I mean, what did Simon do so well to really pick you guys up?
Well, if he doesn't come out and throw that zero up, we're in trouble. They had a lot of momentum over there. And I think we were not going to bring any of our pitchers back. They were bugging me to come back and throw Jasek and other guys, and I was not going to do that. I mean, obviously you want to protect your guys. It's not a win at all costs, and that bullpen knew that. They knew that there were going to be some guys out there that hadn't been out there as much, and they needed to step it up, and they sure did today.
Randall was big for you all tournament. Obviously a very tight game. He gets that big home run. Did you feel at any point there was a huge breaking point in game number 2?
Yeah, the double at the end by Parker. Randall's home run was big because we sat on 1-0 for a long time, and we're sitting there 0-2 and a 2-0 count in the top of the ninth, and I'm thinking, oh man, we're going to have to try to hold this 2 spot in the ninth. And, you know, it's tough. It's tough in college baseball in that ninth inning, and their first guy got on, you know, with the 6-0 lead. But it was a grind all day, Luke. It was a grind, and we were mentally and physically challenged today, and I think that was really good for our club going into next week.
I feel like, too, you can throw out seedings in conference tournaments. I mean, you've seen Evansville all year long. They battled, and that's a really good team that you had to knock off. I mean, this is a hard tournament to win, and it's even harder when you go up against a very strong caliber.
Yeah, and when they're shifting guys in and out, and, you know, their arms did a really good job against us. They were landing pitches. They were impressive, too. It was a dogfight, and our guys had to respond each and every inning, and that's what I was so proud of. You know, it would have been easy to roll over because we knew we were in the tournament, but these guys wanted more. They wanted to finish this thing out, and by gosh, they did.
We've been around together for quite a while. There's been times where you get to conference tournaments and maybe the host school doesn't win that first game. A good majority of the crowd leaves, and it's a dead environment. Your fans really stuck around. I felt that was even big, especially late in the game as it kept building.
They did, and the way that first one ended, and I know to have to sit in a crowd and listen to the other team hoot and holler and have all the momentum, it's tough to sit and listen to, but they hung in there, and they were probably the difference for us this last couple of games. Their energy, their electricity, our guys weren't going to quit in front of them, and that was good to see.
It's one of those things you can't talk about as you're going through the course of the season. Now as you wait for the selection show, I mean, you know you're in. Now the question is whether you have the opportunity to host here. What do you wrap your brain around in terms of if your team deserves to do that and what the case they made really here down the closing stretch of the season in order to do that?
Well, our team has done everything it could do. You know, we started out the year kind of struggled. Obviously coming out of the tin can over there where we practice, going outside and playing, we were not as sharp as we had hoped to be in that first 2 or 3 weeks. But it is what it is. We're a northern team, and we got to deal with that. But from the time we've gotten back and played, I think our play speaks for itself. Someone else can judge whether or not we deserve to host. You know, that's for the committee. I just know that our club did everything possible. And you know, we talked about this about a month ago. We thought, well, do you shelter the guys from it? And we thought, no, they know. And that's why we went into tournament mode 4 weeks ago. We couldn't lose a game. And, you know, regardless of what anybody says, when you have that on your shoulders, it's not easy. But this group has handled that extremely well. And that takes a mature and tough club to know that 4 weeks ago we said, hey, guys, we're in tournament mode. We can't lose. If we want all of the goals that we've put out in front of us to reach and starting out the year, and I don't want to mention anything about odds, but this wasn't even a thought that Indiana State, Terre Haute could host a regional. The fact that we've even put it to the forefront is a testament to this group of young men.
But there was one vote that your team got in the preseason that could win this darn thing. And not only did you win the regular season, you won the tournament. What did you see in your group from the very beginning?
I just saw a bunch of guys that like to compete and play. You know, I saw a bunch of guys that when they lost inter squads and had to run that bridge over into West Terre Haute, you know, we had guys probably have to run that 20, 25 times this year. That 2.5, 3 miles is not an easy track, but they didn't complain. They said, "Hey, we lost. We got to go pay the piper," and that's been the mode of this team all year. They don't like to lose, and you hope you recruit guys that have that in them, and we're just fortunate to have a bunch of guys here that just hate to lose, Luke.
Saw you at the end. You went over and you said something to your coach sitting there in the first row. One, what'd you tell him? And two, what's it mean to do something that a lot of his great teams that you're with were not able to do, and that's to win a regular season and the win a tournament?
Well, I think first and foremost, he built this program. This was his project. We carry on his legacy and the teams that came before us. And I just went over because I think it's important to recognize that. And I think a lot of times that stuff gets away. It's not like we didn't take over a program that didn't have a culture. It was here. It's been here a long time. We're just trying to carry on that torch.